Hi everyone and welcome to Homerino Collectibles, where today we're going to be taking a look at the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Azrael in Batman Armour. And this version in particular, if you take a look on the side here, which is from Curse of the White Knight, is an absolute beauty. Normally we're used to seeing, obviously, the golds and everything, but, we're used to seeing a red version or a blue version of Azrael in the bat suit. But having him in all black like this with, you can't quite see it right here, but with piercing red eyes and those silver accents, it looks awesome. It does come with the same sword that we got with a previous Azrael figure, which actually the review for that will be coming, so don't worry about that. We do not get the flame effect that is on that sword though. Kinda sucks, I wish that we did, because on the back here, the artwork that they've chosen is of the flaming sword, so would have been really awesome to have that effect. But at least if you do have the Azrael figure, which you probably do, if you're picking up this, you're going to be more of a fan of the regular Azrael at least, so you're probably going to be picking up both of those figures, so you'll have that accessory to use. There are actually some Marvel Legends flame accessories for swords, which also will fit on the sword as well. So if you do collect Marvel Legends, you may have a recent accessory that you could put on there. But I will showcase what I mean when I show you that Azrael a little later on. At the bottom of this box, we also have the other figures that came out at the same time. I have all of these, and reviews for all of them will be coming up. And this is definitely one of those boxes where, instead of just chucking it in the recycling, I will be cutting out this and either framing it or using it as a background to a shelf, or maybe blue tacking it onto a wall and using it and other McFarlane Toys images as like a border or something around a wall. I mean, these look so fantastic. These are basically collector's cards in themselves, so definitely going to be cutting this out and using this image. It looks awesome. But anyway, that's enough of me rambling. Let's go ahead and open this guy up and see how cool this thing really is. And here's Azrael out of the packaging. This guy stands 7.5 inches tall to the top of the ears, and he looks absolutely incredible. Now, in terms of this guy's articulation, there are some really cool, nifty ways they have gone about moving some of these armor pieces to allow for the articulation, but there's also a gripe or two that I have with that as well. But before we get to anything with the figure, I just do want to mention he does also, as well as the sword, come with the collector card, which is that artwork that's on the back of the packaging, and also a stand. I love the fact that all of these McFarlane figures do come with a stand as well, or a base or whatever. It has the single peg. It is attached to the back of the packaging here. So if you wanted to use the packaging as some kind of background, you do have to tear that off, so you can't really do that. But back to the figure. So yes, the sword is the exact same sword that we got with the prior released Azrael figure. We have the awesome silver for the blade, the gold and red for the hilt. You do have the crucifixion right there, which is a little bit bigger than on the artwork, but I like that because at least it means that you can actually see it, and the design is there on both sides, so the sword is just fine both sides. But one gripe is, as you can see, he's barely holding on to the thing. It does fit into those kind of talons. Very tricky to get it in there, I might add. It does fit better into this hand, but it will be kind of loose, so you either have a super tight one that holds it at an angle, which looks fine when he's stood there and it's like holding it downwards, but as you can see, in terms of his grip, it should really be horizontal right now. But if you put it in the other hand, it fits just fine, but it is kind of loose in there, so there's no real middle ground. Would have been nice to have either this grip better holding it, or to have an interchangeable hand, maybe with like literally molded onto the sword, and that would fix that problem. Another gripe I have with the figure, I don't have many, is that he should have a couple of spikes coming off the back of his legs there on his calves, the obvious Azrael spikes. And in fact, if I grab the box right here, you can see them. So we have the spikes right there and right there on his legs, and in this universe, Batman also has some spikes in the back, which is pretty cool. But yeah, these are very much, Azrael-esque. He's always had those, and this figure doesn't have them. Now, maybe they didn't want to have them interfering with the cape, or maybe for whatever reason, they just found it difficult to do those. Maybe there was so much other molding going into this guy that they just, had to cut them out for cost reasons or whatever. But, you got these spikes up here on the arms and everything, and they came out okay. Yes, a little bit bent from the packaging, but honestly, I can't complain about that for this particular figure, because that has always been the same for pretty much every Batman figure ever. So unless they make these out of, hard plastic, not a kind of rubberized plastic, 99% they're always going to be warped in some way, unless you're very, very lucky. So those are really my only big gripes with this guy. I mean, he doesn't have the spikes, they're a bit warped, he doesn't hold the sword all that well, but other than that, this guy is a behemoth. Now, the cape is nice and flexible, you can get it out of the packaging just fine. It will come in the package with the cape like this, and it looks like it's torn or something, and you're like, oh no. Well, these shoulder pieces, as you can see in there, are actually on ball joints, so it's really nice and simple to just tuck the cape under there, and it looks great. It allows for articulation. It also allows for the cape to still have the appearance of covering the shoulders, and I think that is amazing. Let's get a close-up of some of this guy's features here. That helmet is incredible. Does have a little bit of white gunk on there, which is going to have to be scraped off. It's kind of like glue. There was a little bit on the back of the cape, just there. So, going to have to work on getting that off, but that's not really too bad. I love the bat symbol on the chest there. Really, really fantastic. It is raised up, so it's a separate piece to the rest of the torso. Then you've got the, very, very iconic Azrael belt going around the side there. These side kind of rib pieces. And also, obviously, the iconic pouches on the thigh. Very, very happy to see those. So, harkening back to the articulation then. The head, it's a little bit kind of hindered because of these kind of armor pieces around the back of the neck there. So you can look left and right, you can pivot side to side and look up and down, but just not as much. But hey, it is surrounded by armor, so what more can you expect? These shoulder pieces are on ball joints, which allows them to get out of the way of the actual shoulder, which does have a butterfly joint in there, and it does have a hinge, so it can come all the way out to the side. But mine are very, very tight, and that goes for both shoulders. So when I do, I actually pop it off the ball joint that is connected inside of the body. So I literally pull the arm off when I try and move it. Yes, I can use a hairdryer or some warm water or something. But for right now, it's totally fine. I'm not going to display him in any other pose. I don't want him with his arms up, wielding his sword. I mean, as you can see, even without pulling the shoulders out to the side, you can still get those arms up, and you can see how those shoulder bells are moving out of the way. And if the arm did come out to the side, as you can see, the shoulder bells do move up, so it would allow it. My figure, it's a little tight. I'm not going to bother moving it myself, but just know that for yours, you will be able to get the arms out, and obviously, you can move them quite far, considering there is a cape, and considering there's a shoulder bell. With all that armor, they've done a really amazing job. And there you can see the articulation, so you can see you can do it, but I'm just not with mine. Rotation at the upper part of the arm, and then you have the single-jointed elbow. It is ratcheted, which is nice, but yeah, you can't move it all that much, so that's kind of sucks, but it's fine. You get the rotation and the hinge there at the wrist. It's on the ball hinge, just like the ankles are, which we'll get to in a minute. The torso moves in two sections. You got the top section, and then you've got this bottom section right here as well. So you can get a much more realistic look by turning that a little bit and turning that a little bit. Love it when they do that. It's a bit more finicky as you're moving things. They are ball joints, so they can pivot side to side and back more than forwards because of all the armor and the design. But there is kind of a crunch-ish there. Down at the legs, hips can move out to the side. They do have this armor piece on the edge, which hinders it a little bit. But that is more than enough. You don't really need to get any more than that. They do move forwards and backwards really well. Rotation at the upper part of the thigh, both at that ball joint and at this hinge right there. Double jointed knees, which do, haven't moved this one yet, and with the other one, but they do move all the way back. The other one a smidge more because it doesn't have those pouches. Moving the knees back without trying to break the thing. And then we have the ball hinge, just like at the wrist as well. So the feet can move up and down. And then you also have the ankle rocker there as well. And you can move the hinge if you want to move them up and down in a different position. And with this guy, whoa, look at that for a toe hinge. Huh? Doesn't that remind you of original Toy Biz? And then obviously you have the peg holes for that base. If you love Azrael, and obviously you love his old variants of, being in the Bat Armour, this is something new and fresh and even more dark and demonic looking. 100% definitely recommend that you pick this thing up. He looks amazing. Never seen anything like it before. And we already have, I think, repaints coming out for this from McFarlane Toys. I think they have recently. I know they did a repaint of the Batman that was just announced, so I'm pretty sure this will have one. Maybe it has like an all gold version or something. I can't remember if it's already been revealed or not, but this thing looks amazing. I mean, if you're not convinced just by looking at it, yeah, having it in person, it's 10 times better. Pick this thing up. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and give it a like. If you want to see more from me, check out this guy right here without knocking this over very close to the camera. But here we have Azrael. I'll put him behind. There you go. I will be reviewing this figure. There you can see the flame effect on the sword very soon, so you'll see him in his usual attire. And also, anything else from McFarlane Toys, I am collecting a bunch of them. I have literally a pile waist high next to me that I've got to review, so I'm going to be cranking out these videos. If you want to see more from me, check out the videos that are on screen right now. Check out the links in the description to my social media, and also subscribe for more. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.